That familiar gesture, the one where your thumb and index finger meet to form a perfect circle, the other three fingers standing tall and proud, can mean okay, perfect, or all clear in countless places around the world. But if you flash that exact same sign in Brazil, you haven't just said everything's fine, you've thrown down a gauntlet. You've essentially just told someone in no uncertain terms to go and do something incredibly vulgar and offensive, a direct insult that is considered nothing short of a declaration of war. Imagine you've just landed in Rio, the hum of Portuguese filling the air, a warm breeze carrying the scent of salt and city. You're at a busy juice bar trying to order a fresh acai. You point, you smile, and the attendant looks a little confused. To reassure them, to show you're happy with your choice, you flash that universally recognized OK sign, expecting a nod of understanding. Instead, the person behind the counter's smile vanishes, their eyes narrow, the casual atmosphere stiffens, and you're left standing there bewildered, wondering what just happened. What happened was a monumental cultural misstep. For Brazilians, that seemingly innocent circle is not a sign of approval. It's the equivalent of giving someone the middle finger, a crude and aggressive insult aimed directly at their backside. It's vulgar, demeaning, and utterly unacceptable in polite or even impolite company. My first time hearing about this, I genuinely laughed, convinced it was an exaggeration. But the more you dig, the more you realize the depth of the offense. It's not just rude, it's aggressively contemptuous. You see, gestures are like silent words, and just like words, their meanings are entirely arbitrary and learned. There's no universal dictionary for body language, much as we might wish there were. What feels instinctual to us, developed over a lifetime in one culture, can be utterly alien, or worse, deeply insulting somewhere else. The OK sign is a prime example of this linguistic minefield. While it signals good or fine across much of North America, Europe, and Asia, its meaning takes a sharp, dark turn as you cross certain borders. So, how do you signal OK in Brazil without accidentally starting a conflict? It's surprisingly simple once you know. The thumbs up sign, universally positive in many places, including Brazil, is your safe bet. Or, even better, use your words. A simple tudo bem, literally all good or everything well, works both as a question, how are you, and an affirmation, I'm fine, or everything's okay. It's incredibly versatile. For something a bit more casual, among friends or in a relaxed setting, you can use beleza. This literally means beauty, but colloquially it translates to cool or okay or got it. Imagine a friend asking if you want another coffee, and you might respond with a cheerful beleza. It's informal, friendly, and carries none of the hidden aggression of the circle gesture. Mastering these simple phrases alongside a genuine smile will get you much further than relying on assumptions about universal gestures. I remember once witnessing a tourist, completely oblivious, use the circle gesture towards a street vendor who had just served him a delicious pastel. The vendor, a woman who had probably seen it all, visibly recoiled. Her genial expression hardened, and she actually turned her back, refusing to engage further. The tourist, still beaming, thought he had conveyed his satisfaction. He had no idea he had just delivered a profound insult. He didn't get another pastel from her that trip, I can tell you. This isn't about being overly sensitive, it's about respecting deeply ingrained cultural boundaries.
When you use such a gesture, especially to someone who doesn't speak your language, you strip them of their ability to understand your intent, forcing them to interpret based on their own cultural lexicon. And in Brazil, that lexicon interprets your okay as a gross personal affront. It's not just a declaration of war, it's an unintentional yet deeply felt act of disrespect. If you've ever had a travel moment where a simple gesture went horribly wrong, share your story in the comments below. We've all been there, and sometimes those awkward moments become the best travel tales. They do, but in the moment, they're pure cringe. You feel that knot in your stomach, that instant replay in your head trying to figure out what just went wrong. That feeling, that unexpected jolt of social friction, is exactly what happens when our ingrained nonverbal communication collides head-on with another culture's unspoken rules. It's easy to assume gestures are universal, a kind of global Rosetta Stone for when words fail, but as we've seen, that couldn't be further from the truth. Think about the ubiquitous thumbs up. In most Western cultures, it's a sign of approval, agreement, good job. It's what you give a friend who just nailed a presentation or a child who finished their veggies. You wouldn't think twice about it. But flash that same gesture in parts of the Middle East, West Africa, or even some areas of South America, and you've just delivered an insult so crude, it's often equated to giving someone the middle finger. Imagine the absolute shock, the utter confusion of a well-meaning traveler trying to compliment a local, only to be met with outrage or a blank stare. The intention was pure, even friendly, but the message received was an F-bomb without uttering a single word. It's a powerful lesson in how deeply embedded these nonverbal cues are and how much they shape interactions, often below the level of conscious thought. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many times have we inadvertently offended or been offended by a gesture that means something entirely different just a few thousand miles away? It's not about blame, it's about awareness. This isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about building bridges, even small ones, in a world that thrives on connection. If this kind of cultural deep dive into the nuances of travel and language helps you navigate new places with more confidence and respect, consider hitting that like button. It tells me these stories resonate with you. The key to navigating this nonverbal minefield isn't to walk around with your hands in your pockets, completely inert. That would be just as unnatural and perhaps even more confusing. Instead, it's about observation, humility, and a willingness to be a student, even when you're the expert in your own culture. Watch how people interact. Do they use open palms? Do they point with their lips instead of their fingers, as is common in some indigenous cultures? Do they avoid direct eye contact, or is it a sign of respect? Take, for instance, the simple act of pointing. In many places, an index finger is fine, but in others, like much of Southeast Asia, pointing with your finger is considered incredibly rude, especially at a person. Instead, they might use an open hand or even point with their chin or eyes. These are subtle shifts, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye, but they speak volumes about cultural propriety. The Brazilian circle gesture is a prime example of how a seemingly innocuous hand shape can carry such a potent negative charge. It's a declaration of war not because Brazilians are overly aggressive, but because that specific combination of thumb and forefinger forming a circle has been culturally assigned a deeply offensive meaning, much like your thumbs up might be in another country.
What other seemingly innocent gestures have you discovered have a wildly different or even offensive meaning when you travel? Share your experiences below. Your story might just save another traveler from an awkward encounter. These aren't just trivial quirks. They're windows into the soul of a culture, a silent language spoken by millions. And mastering just a few of these nonverbal rules can transform your travel experience from a series of potential gaffes into genuine, respectful engagement. The beauty of travel, for me, lies precisely in these little differences. It's the unexpected curveballs, the moments where your assumptions are completely overturned, that truly teach you something. It forces you to pause, to observe, and to learn. It reminds you that your world, your ways, are just one of many. What might seem like an overreaction to us is, for someone else, a deeply rooted part of their identity and how they communicate respect or disrespect. So, before you rely on that familiar hand signal the next time you're navigating the vibrant streets of Brazil, remember its hidden power. Choose a thumbs up, or better yet, learn tudo bem or beleza. Understanding these small cultural signals isn't just about avoiding trouble. It's about connecting authentically, demonstrating respect, and truly immersing yourself in the destination. If you're finding these insights helpful for your next adventure, consider subscribing to Layover Lingo for more essential travel intelligence that could save you from an awkward or even hostile encounter. Because in the end, travel isn't just about seeing new places, it's about understanding new people, one gesture and one word at a time.